Morning. I got to warn everyone, this is going to be a work-related bitch fest. Really has nothing to do with Patrick Tomlinson or anything on the internet. Um, so I've been on home convalescence because I had major back surgery. Right now, I'm not even cleared to drive a vehicle. And one of the big things is on Wednesday, I have to go back to the VA hospital to talk to my neurosurgeon to see if he will clear me to get onto a plane and fly all the way to Japan. If I get clearance to do this, on Saturday, Nippon Steel, which is the national steel company for Japan, will shut down one of their facilities, and I will basically supervise the installation of some very, very expensive equipment. I will be the only person that's part of the commissioning team that is not a Japanese native. I'm literally the only foreigner that is even allowed at this facility at this time. Very big deal. And they know about my back problems. We had to let them know very early on. Hey, he's got to get this surgery. He might not be cleared. To which the owner of this facility has said, well, Smith's son, we need to know right away, as soon as you can know whether or not you can travel, because we will change our schedule of our shutdown. That's a big deal. This involves hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. But the thing is, I've done so much work for them over the years, I'm the only person that they trust. They can't even get somebody from our Japanese field office to do this. Or I should say the Japanese home office. I am the only person that the owner of the steel mill is comfortable with handling this project. So the entire time I've been home on medical leave, I've been answering some phone calls and trouble calls for like our customer support division and so on. But for the most part, I have basically been bedridden. I'm really not supposed to be up on my feet at all. Even now, I'm supposed to be on the ground, or I'm sorry, on the bed. Well, I've been getting a lot of messages, emails, and so on from this guy who I've never interacted before, who's got two first names. I'm just going to make up a name. Imagine if his name is John Henry. And John Henry has been bugging me about how I need to come in. I need to sit down with him and some other people about my yearly performance review, or I should say my 6-month performance review. And I keep replying back, that's not your job. That is my manager, Hans's job. Why do I have to come in? Oh, well, new policy. We want you to come in. And I'm like, well, I'm currently on medical leave. Can we not do this over the phone? And they're like, nope, it has to be done in person. And I'm like, all right, well, let me talk to my wife. So this morning, my wife, much to her chagrin, agreed to drive me to work. And then all I'm supposed to do is sit in this meeting. And then when lunchtime rolls around, she's going to come home or come to my office, the field office, to pick me up at lunchtime and immediately take me home. So I show up around 8 o'clock in the morning. Almost instantly, I start getting bugged with helping out customer support cases. And since I'm sitting at my desk, feeling pretty miserable, and I got to pass the time until 10 a.m., screw it, I start handling some things. It gets about 20 minutes before 10 a.m., and I'm actually on the phone with a customer. I don't want to go into particular details due to NDAs and so on, but it's a national defense kind of thing, involving a fueling system and so on. So I send off a message to this guy, hey, I might be a little late. I'm currently on the phone with a customer. He fires back, who is that? And I fire back, NDA, you don't need to know. Because that's the honest truth. So I ended up showing up to the meeting about 10 minutes late. And one of the things that was very, very weird was I wasn't going to his cubicle or whatever. I was in one of our largest conference rooms. And I walk in, there's this John Henry guy, and seemingly 2/3 of HR. all these fat cat ladies. So I walk in, and first thing he says is, "Are you Michael Smith?" I go, "Yeah, yeah, I am. That's why I'm here." "Well, Mike, moving forward, it's really inappropriate for you to be late for a meeting." And I look at him and I said, "Well, John, is it?" He goes, "Mr. Henry." "Well, Mr. Henry, as I notified you, I was on the phone with the Department of Defense. I couldn't exactly just hang up on them, could I?" "Well, you shouldn't have taken that call." Okay. So I sit down. Now, in the 12 or 13 years or so that I've worked for this company, every time I get a 6 month performance review, we all get ranked 1 out of 5. One meaning that they're calling security, they're taking your security badge, and you're not going to be allowed to pack up your shit or even say goodbye to anybody. 5 meaning you're hot shit, you're the best of the best, we can't lose you no matter what. I have always gotten a 5 out of 5. I immediately get told I'm getting a 2 out of 5. Well, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. And he proceeds to start detailing about how I'm difficult to work with, people in the office find me intimidating, I'm unprofessional, blah, 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 blah. Customer support, the metals group, papers group, oil and gas. Everyone has a problem with me. That's very interesting. And of course, he's like, "Do you have anything to say in your defense?" I go, "No, I don't. I'm not going to get in an argument with you." "Well, Mike," and I cut him off. I go, "Mr. Smith." He goes, "Excuse me?" I was like, "You want me to refer to you as Mr. Henry? I expect you to reciprocate. It's Mr. Smith to you." "Well, Mr. Smith, this is sort of what I'm talking about. The way you present yourself in the office, it's very unprofessional." I go, "How so, Mr. Henry?" "Well, look at what you're wearing. You're wearing a flannel shirt and jeans and what appears to be work boots." I go, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Well, that's not appropriate attire." I look at him and I go, "This is the attire that's required to work in our basement labs." He goes, "Excuse me?" I go, "This is the attire to go in and out of our basement labs. It's also the attire that I have to wear at customer sites. I have to wear steel-toe boots with metatarsal covers. Furthermore, I have to wear 100% cotton, natural fibers. If I was wearing what you are currently wearing, if I was in an arc flash explosion, they would have to pull that stuff off my flesh, and it would do a lot of damage. I naturally always wear natural cotton." He goes, "Well, we're not down in the lab, are we?" And I said, "Well, how do you know I didn't just come from the lab? I might have just been in the lab, wouldn't I? Are you telling me that the people that are in and out of the lab are not authorized to wear appropriate PPE as required by OSHA, state and federal law?" And he goes, "Well, Mike, I think we're getting distracted." I go, "Mr. Smith, you want me to call you Mr. Henry? I expect you to call me Mr. Smith." He goes, "Well, Mr. Smith, I can understand somebody in your situation or with your background that you would want to wear PPE." And I go, "What do you mean my background?" I knew what he was hinting at, and I wanted him to say it out loud. "Well, I'm referring to," and he moves his hand around the right side of his face. I was like, "You think the reason that I have facial scars," and I hold up my right hand, "the reason that I'm missing these digits is due to an arc event. You don't know what an arc event means, but you assume that I got these injuries working for our company." The answer is no. I got these injuries in Afghanistan while I was in the military. "Oh, I thank you for your service." I go, "Mr. Henry, don't patronize me." I find that very, very insulting. I didn't mean anything by it. I don't care what you meant. That would imply that I care about what you say or think about me. I don't. Well, Mr. Smith, this is what we're talking about. You're very difficult to work with. Okay. What's this really about? He goes, what do you mean? What is this really about? I've never interacted with you before. I don't know who you are. I don't know who half these people are. Why am I in this room right now? What's this really about? And he goes, I'm not sure what you're getting at. Now, one of the things that has come up in the last, I don't know, 6 months is the corporation has realized that they could get a lot of tax savings if they move their headquarters from Appalachia to Houston, Texas. That's where we build our really dirt cheap, crappy inverters, primarily solar. Solar is the only thing that I don't touch. Those solar inverters are a fucking death trap. They're crap. They're pieces of shit. And I put two and two together. I was like, you guys want me to move to Houston, don't you? Well, Mr. Smith, if you're open to it, I am not open to it, Mr. Henry. Not at all. He goes, may I ask why? Simple. I have a house that is paid off. I have a community here. My wife and my son both love living here. I am not going to move my family to an apartment complex in between a strip club and an oil refinery. I have no desire to move to Houston. Furthermore, as a field engineer, doesn't matter where I live. Doesn't matter where I live. I have to travel all over the world on very short notice. There is no reason for me to have to move. This SOB has the nerve to say, well, Mr. Smith, as an employee for blah, 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 all of us are expected to make some sacrifices. I look at him and I go, Mr. Henry, do you have children? He goes, yes, I have a daughter and a son. Ah, I have a son. He's 12 years old. Do you know how many birthdays I've made at home to celebrate with him? He goes, no. I've made 2 birthdays in 12 years. 2 in 12 years. Do you know how many anniversaries that I've made with my wife in person? Big fat 0. Don't talk to me about sacrifice. My wife and my son sacrifice more for this company than any people in this office combined. He goes, Mr. Smith, do you know what a PIP is? I said, no, it sounds stupid, and I don't deal with stupid things. I actually got a chuckle from one of the fat HR ladies with that. He goes, it's a personal improvement program. These are a list of objectives that we expect you to satisfy in the next 3 months. I go, no kidding. I was like, can I see a copy of it? He goes, you'll see it at the end. I want to see a copy of it now. I can read and listen at the same time. I'm not a moron. I look at this thing, it's all just. In the engineering world, there's 2 kinds of things, qualitative and quantitative. The big difference between qualitative and quantitative is quantitative things can be proven. For example, if it said on my PIP, you must be below 6'3" in height. I have no chance of actually doing this, but at the very least, if I did for some reason cut my legs off at the knee, I could get somebody to measure me from my bloody stumps to my head, and they go, yeah, you're 6'2.5" now. It's a measurable thing. It's a provable thing. What do I have on my PIP? Stupid crap like you're going to be more presentable in the office. You're going to be more friendly in the office. You're going to be more available to customer and office needs. It's all arbitrary crap. I could do everything under the sun to try to make this stuff. At the end of the day, what's going to happen in 3 months, they're going to go, you didn't really achieve this. So you have one of 2 options, Mr. Smith. Either we fire you and you go away, or we fire you, but we'll let you reapply for your job in the Houston area, probably for a massive pay cut. I'm not dealing with this. One of the items was that I was to show up at a team building exercise the last week of October. And I go, well, I'm not able to do this one item. What do you mean? I'm slated to travel if I could pass a physical on Friday to Japan. And the guy goes, well, maybe we shouldn't send you to Japan. I go, all right, Mr. Henry, if you're going to do that, you need to notify. And I said the name of the steel mill owner. And he goes, who is that? I go, he's the guy that owns the steel mill for Nippon Steel. You need to let him know now because he's going to rearrange his entire shutdown for me. And when they find out this is because you're an idiot, we're going to have real problems. Especially if he finds out I passed my physical to fly. He didn't like that. I don't care. I go, why is Hans not here, either online or remotely? He goes, well, Hans is in South Carolina. I know he's in South Carolina. Well, due to the severe flooding and all, he's not readily available. Uh-huh. Did you tell Hans that this sit down with me was happening? He will know about it. I'm sure he will. And they go, well, before you leave, you have to sign this paperwork. Yeah, sure. And I signed it. I intentionally signed it with my right hand. I now use my left hand. I'm left-hand dominant now. I used to be right-hand dominant until the ID explosion. If I want to make you uncomfortable, I make you look at the stumps. I intentionally turn my head slightly to the left, so you have to look at the hole in my face. I signed it. I put the pen down, and I go, none of this is enforceable. And I got up, called my wife. I said, I will not be in the parking lot. I'll be across the street. Why? I don't know. I might be getting fired. You know, when my wife responded, oh, thank God. My wife hates my job. My son hates my job. I haven't heard back from Hans yet. I probably won't for a while. I know I'm still going to have to go to Nippon Steel. I know I will. This guy's going to be a little shit to me. I don't care. They're probably going to, 3 months from now, they're probably going to pull the whole thing. We want you to move. I'm going to tell them to fuck off. Because I have any number of our customers that would be interested in me. I have any number of our direct competitors that would hire me without a question asked. Or I could just say, you know what? You're right. I quit. Or I'm fired. And I take like a 3-month sabbatical. And then when this company really starts freaking the hell out, I'll say, oh, you still need me, huh? Double my pay. I'm going to make you bleed. This is just one of those things that really, really frustrates me. Where I've been working for this company for like 12, 13 years, and I've always had a good relationship with everything. And we've got a new CEO, we got a new CFO, and so on. And it's all about chasing these stupid margins. We're not even talking about profit margins. We're trying to chase like pure sales. So like they're going all in on solar and oil and gas, which right now solar and oil and gas are doing really well, but they're absurdly exposed to any kind of market volatility. And so what's going to end up happening is they're going to go all in on these two businesses and then eat it when there's a credit crunch in either one of these sectors. This is basically what happened to General Electric. And General Electric nearly went under. This is what killed, what's it called? The AC company, not General Electric, Westinghouse. This is what killed Westinghouse. Westinghouse went into the financial system, or went into heavy finance and real estate, and that's what caused Westinghouse to completely implode, even though it was a hugely successful global engineering company. It's depressing. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh God, my company's going under. Whatever will I do? I can move from one to the next. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. I don't think my company's actually going under anytime soon, but I do think that I'll make sure that I have plenty of emails of various different individuals that could set me up with a job at any customer site, or It's not even like a particular customer. So I could contact one of our steel mill customers, let's say like Nucor Steel, and just be like, look, I'm going to keep living in Appalachia. How about when you're scheduling your shutdowns, you give me plane tickets, rent a car, and you pay for my hotel rooms, and I go up and down the Mississippi. I hit all your steel mills, doing PM, planned maintenance, training up your guys on how to work on this equipment and so on. Well, I get done with the season, go back home. So I'm on the road for like, I don't know, 3 months straight, which sounds like a really long time, but for me, it's actually a lot less time on the road. And they stagger these steel mill shutdowns. So like I could work for 3 months, take the rest of the year off, kind of thing, because I'm so expensive. Like I'd probably make more money doing that. Although it would be depressing just to work in the steel mill sector as opposed to what I currently do, which is work in everything but solar. But it's just one of those things. I think a lot of people, I'm sure if any of you have stuck around, even if you're not in field engineering or engineering, I'm sure a lot of you folks have been in that situation where it's just like one day it hits you, you're like, holy shit, the place I work for really sucks. When did this happen? You know, I'm sure there were people that loved working at Blackbuster, and then all of a sudden they're just like, man, they're forcing us to try to sell credit cards and crap. Like this sucks. I think this happens to a lot of people, and it's never fun to deal with this. So I apologize for rambling. I'm gonna get off my computer and immediately crawl into bed because I've been on my feet way too long today. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I hope everyone's doing well. Y'all take care. Ciao.